you?
I'm 22.
And do you support Trump?
Yes.
And what's your birth year?
2003,
And what month?
June 21st.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
I support him because he upholds more of a normalcy and more leads you towards normalcy, like religion and just overall national like proudness, than the other side.
Okay. So, religion and national pride.
Yes.
Okay. Few things here. I think that he undermines things that would invoke a national pride, like our constitution, our rule of law, our democracy, things like that. And also, he undermines religion. I mean, he quite literally has called for a complete and total shutdown of Muslims entering the country, which is a violation of our First Amendment, by the way. And secondly, he's also posted a picture depicting himself as literal God.
Yeah, not necessarily like him in general, but like just the movement surrounding him. Like, and he's like just the figurehead. It's more of like the movement around him than actually him. That's what I would say about that.
So you're okay with a movement that supports someone who blasphemes God,
No, I
who
mean, I think it's
takes away access to food for children, who cuts people
what do
off
you
their
mean by
health
that?
care
Oh,
access, who has been held civilly liable of abusing women, who bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent, where two 18-year-olds came out, so there were four girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms, and a million other things I can bring up.
you're naming a lot of things. I would like to have one at a time. But
Sure.
like the food thing, like I don't believe anybody that's needs it is being kicked off of. It's more of like access, like waste that's being kicked off.
Really, so the
And even if it
420,000
was,
kids who are getting access to free school lunch and breakfast, that's just waste that they're cutting off?
no, I like waste in the sense that their parents could be giving that to them. Like
Okay.
that's not the
So,
government's responsibility. I feel like to give food to everybody. Like it's not the
well, it's going to
responsibility of
it
the government.
increases access, and these kids are going to be more hungry because you're cutting their access. I just want to clarify that. And you're okay with children being
So,
hungrier.
so you think their parents wouldn't be able to feed them otherwise? Do you
I think
think
it's better
people?
to ensure free school lunch and breakfast, and I actually think it should be applicable to all kids because all kids should eat. And yeah, there are situations where parents are not able to afford things in circumstances because of the fact that we live in an unaffordable system where people are living paycheck to paycheck, and the average American can't afford a random $400 expense. So yeah, I do think that we should ensure that this is held access to, because if a parent can't ensure that the kid has access to it, this kid still should be able to eat.
Okay, I agree with that. That they should be able to eat. But what I would say is that responsibility should fall on the parents, and like maybe if necessary. But at that point, if you can't provide for your kid, then maybe you shouldn't be able to have kids, like or have be able to raise kids if you can't afford to
So,
raise
so,
them.
so, so, for example, you think that the parents who aren't providing, who are getting food stamps and they're using it for their children to get access to free school lunch and breakfast, you're saying that those kids, they should be taken away from their parents? We should call CPS.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't believe that. Like maybe they're not prioritizing feeding their children, but if they are working a job
No, it
and their
helps
kids
them
are
feed
going to,
their
you said
kids.
what?
This helps them afford feeding their kids.
Yeah, sure. It maybe it helps them, but what I'm saying is they should be able to do that without this.
Okay, and yeah, I'd love to live in this idealistic society where every kid is going to have food on their table. I'd love to do that if we just left it up to the free market. That's not how it works. We need to have systems to ensure everyone has access to food, especially children.
And I'm not even like totally against that. Like I would say
And by the
that's
way, the
one of
waste
the better
isn't like the
things.
defense budget that Trump wants to make to $1.5 trillion a year, right? Or the massive tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires. The waste is the children getting access to free school lunch and breakfast, and the people getting access to food stamps, and people getting access to health care through the context of Medicaid. That's the waste.
I would say like all of it is waste. All of that's a lot of that stuff is waste. But like I said, I would just like to make it smaller and like make that less of a percentage of the like our taxpayer dollars going to that. But I understand the necessity of that. Like if they do need it, some they can have. But more of the promoting norms and Christian values that I would say through his movement.
Yep, Christian values to cut children off their free school lunch and breakfast. I agree.
Wait, do you think it's Christian values to pay for everybody else's kids' meals?
Yeah, I do think it's Christian values to help ensure that other kids have food. Yeah, through the governmental systems. Yeah, I think
Through
that is
force?
Christian
Through
values
force?
to ensure that we have the funding for that. Yes.
Yes. So we should force people to pay for other people's kids. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I mean, me,
That's
I
not a
just don't
complicated
share
thing.
that
We live in a
opinion.
society. If you don't want to live in a society, go live in the middle of nowhere.
No, I'm just saying I'm trying to change where we are in our
Yeah,
society
so
now.
so you think society would be better off and more in attune with with Christ if less children had food on their table at lunch?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Or are you going to say it's stealing because we're using taxpayer dollars to
I
pay
mean,
for that,
yes, I
even
mean
though
we are. I mean, at the
Republicans
end of
are
the day,
imposing taxes by imposing tariffs, and you're totally okay with that, even though that taxes everyone.
isn't tariffs a tax on the people importing goods?
Yeah, and that's passed down mostly to the consumers because it's an aspect of cost of production and distribution.
I just don't believe that. And if that is the case, then why are we blocking them the tariffs now? Like the money he has already allocated or promised to America.
Why are we what? I'm confused. What do you mean?
Why are we blocking the tariffs that he already has from other countries? Why are we blocking that from actually reaching America?
I'm really confused what that even means. Like a what?
So you do know that he already has promised like amounts of money from other countries and businesses for America, right?
Are you saying
But the
like the
thing is, the
Supreme
courts are
Court? Why are the
denying those.
Supreme Court blocking the tariffs Trump's putting imposed?
Yes, like not
Oh yeah,
just the
because it's
tariffs, the money he.
unconstitutional
Okay.
for him to
How's
impose
it?
it through executive action.
You say he can't do what?
He can't impose it through executive action.
Imposing tariffs is unconstitutional now.
Talking about universalized tariffs on countries all around the world. Yeah, that's what the Supreme Court said.
Okay.
So they need to pass a bill through Congress, which Congress won't vote on that. You just swiped out the app. I can't hear you currently.
Yeah, I was looking at something else.
Okay. Okay. So like, what do you like about Trump? Other than it seems like you said national pride and religion. I think he is making us less prideful of our nation because he's making it significantly worse off, and his approval rating is in the like, I mean, he's the worst approval rating of any president at this point in time in their presidency. And then also, he is undermining religion by portraying himself as literal the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's
I
blasphemy. That's an unforgivable
yes,
sin according to
say
Jesus Christ.
like I said, it's like more about the movement around him than actually him. Like the movement, like think about it, the movement around the Democrats and Kamala Harris was
Kamala.
like way more. You said what?
It was. I just said Kamala. You could say Harris as well.
Well, Kamala, however you say her name,
Just
but
say Harris.
Harris. Okay, yeah, but the movement around her was overall just more anti-Christ than the movement around Trump. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of Christians around Trump that actually like give him some sort of focus towards just overall Christian values than the other side.
Yeah, praying to a golden statue of him.
Golden statue? Where's this at?
Yeah, look up Trump golden statue that people were praying to. And Trump literally called them and was like, "It's such a great statue, so amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it." And then they prayed to a statue of him, a golden statue of him.
So you think Trump has a God complex or something? You think he's God? He thinks he's God?
Well, I don't know if he thinks he's God, but he definitely has some sort of like God complex. Yeah, I mean, he probably thinks he's like some type of like prophet or.
Okay.
I'm serious. Like I actually like genuinely think that he thinks that. He's like nuts, dude. He literally posted himself depicted as God. Imperfect. Think of the glowing jellyfish, and then wrote it off as like, "Oh, dude, I thought I was a doctor." What?
I mean, if he didn't,
What?
I mean, I do think that he did know that, but I don't think that he knew like that it was like because he isn't a Christian. I'm pretty sure he's just I think he's Jewish or something, or his wife was at least, but I don't think he actually knows like the tenets of the Bible and stuff. So I wouldn't hold that against him. Like, of course, correct him, but like I wouldn't hold that against him like too harshly.
You think he's Jewish?
Or his wife was, or something like that. Or he's not religion at all, which is even worse.
He claims to be Christian.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Let me search this up.
Yeah, you do that. How are you just
Actually, you
figuring
search
this
this
out?
up. You
I
search
already
this up.
have.
He's
I
not
promise
Christian.
you I have. And that's what he claims. And he also represented himself as God. So, like, I mean, you can say, I don't believe he's Christian because he doesn't uphold this, but that's what he claims. The point that I would make. While he sells the Trump Bible, drops a meme coin, he does everything, actually. He does all sins, every sin. He's committed every single one. He's violated all of them.
Okay, I guess he does. Well, it says at least on Google he does. I've never seen that.
Alrighty,
Okay,
so.
well, well, yeah, then he should know about that being blasphemy and stuff. But
Okay, so
like I
then,
said,
so then would you say that you wouldn't stop supporting him now that you know that he's committed this unforgivable sin?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not even really him that I'm like supporting fully. It's the movement around him, and I've always said this that the movement around him is way better than the other side, and it's only a two-party system, so that's the best options we have.
Tell me what is good about the movement around him.
I already said it's more religious people, less abortion, wanting people like killing all the kids. It's less.
Less abortion. So his
It's,
so your whole thing is you want less abortion. What else?
I mean, yeah, I mean, killing less kids is great.
Yeah, so how do you feel about the government under Trump cutting US aid, which will lead to 14 more million people dying, according to a Lancet study, by 2030
Where in America?
around the world? Because we were
Around the
engaging in
world.
cost-effective manners of addressing needs of people, and these are easily preventable deaths.
Yeah, I don't believe that it's our uh
So
that's
you're
our
okay with
problem.
so by the way, as a Christian, you're saying, we should care about people. We should be saving these kids from dying. But if they're from a different country, fuck them.
No, what I'm saying is I don't think that the government should force you to pay for that.
This is a
I
very
mean,
small
I would
portion
be
of the budget,
perfectly
my guy.
fine.
This is a
I
very
would be
small portion
perfectly
of the budget.
fine.
It's not like we're sending most of our money or we're sending a huge portion of our money. It's a very small portion of the budget. These are the most cost-effective ways that you can mitigate death around the world.
Okay, and why couldn't you do that through donations or something like that from people?
Well, you can, but it would cost significantly more money than we'd probably be able to crowdsource or crowdfund, right, through the context of private charities. So that's why it makes more sense to do it through the context of a governmental system where we take a very, very small portion of the budget, and then it's a lot easier to be able to ensure that we can reduce the likelihood of people dying around the world to manners in which wouldn't be able to exist through private charity.
I believe that we did need if we had donations from other people, right? Like around the country and we wanted to help other countries out, that would be a good thing. Okay, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good thing.
Well,
I'm
I'm
saying
just saying, like, you
forcefully
can't say that you care about saving lives and then you just don't consider that. And then also, you're not considering infant mortality goes up when these abortion bans are put in place, and same thing with maternal mortality. That goes up as
how does
well. So you're okay
how
with
does
pregnant
infant
individuals
mortality
dying
go
to
up
a greater
whenever we
extent to satisfy your needs of bringing embryos into existence.
how does infant mortality go up by banning abortion? I just like that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it puts children at greater likelihoods of dying, specifically in situations in which they are not able to get access to it in terms of exceptions. There's less access that's preventable that's provided. There are countless things that we could bring up specifically relating to why infant mortality goes up alongside maternal mortality. Alongside considering that maternal mortality going up would increase the likelihood the infant would die, right? Like I just maybe need to think about that one for a second.
Well, I don't know anybody who hasn't been in favor of medical necessity, but that's very like that's the smallest portion of
Yeah, but
abortions
the
there is, right?
reality is that in medical necessity, right, if you put any type of barrier on them getting access to it in terms of medical necessity, right, then that's going to limit people who do need it and do deserve it, right, from being able to get access to it. There are
How
going
would
to be
that
cases where that happens, right? That's the point that I'm making.
how would that limit them though? Like if we say except for medical necessity, which I'm pretty sure every state in the United States allows for, like so I don't know what would be the problem there.
Like
Like
repeat that one more time.
every state in the United States allows for abortions for medical necessity, right?
So the point that we would make is that there have been situations where these exceptions, because they're so vague and doctors and providers don't know when they can provide access to these things, it creates more circumstances where people are going to die because there is a less likely chance that we're going to address it earlier on, which increases the likelihood that it goes wrong in the long term. And this is not just death as well. One thing that needs to be considered is all the medical complications that go along with this as well, right? Like what you're saying is that people should be forced to go through pregnancies, forced to go through the financial costs, the physical costs, the psychological costs, right? And all of these other things, right? For many months, right? Simply for what? For you to feel better.
No, for the life of the child.
Well,
And
you're
like I
saying, okay,
said,
so but like it's not a child prior to sentience, to subjective experience. Let me ask you this question: do you think it's murder to pull the plug on an individual in your family that is brain dead?
yes, I do.
You do? You
I
think it's
don't. I
murder?
believe
You think people should go to prison for pulling the plug on an individual in their family that's brain dead?
brain dead means they're like non-cognitive, right? And but they're still living like through what machines?
They have cellular life, but they are brain dead, which means they're medically dead under our current designations within the context of the hospital.
I would say at that point, yeah, pulling the plug
They're never coming
wouldn't
back,
be.
is the
Yeah,
point in terms of
wait.
subjective experience.
Okay, well that's different than
But they
birth
still have
though.
cellular life. The point that I'm making is that if you say that medical death happens at the point of brain death, well, then wouldn't medical life and what you consider to be valuable life begin at brain life, or when subjective experience begins?
No, it's clear in the Bible that like when life begins,
It's okay. The Bible does
it
not say life begins at conception.
no life is was before you were even conceived. That's what I'm saying. Life is like it said God knew you before you were born. Like He
Yeah, that's
crafted
not
you.
life. That's not life. That's just God saying that they're all
What
knowing.
what? No, He
Yeah,
said He
that's
personally
God
knew
saying that they're
you.
all knowing, that they knew you before you even existed because they're all knowing.
No, I'm saying your soul was already there. That's what I'm saying. Your soul is there. So and then when life starts
But
at
not on
conception from
Earth.
scientists.
Not. So when you're saying life, we're talking about biologically, right?
Okay, sure. I mean, we could go that route. Um, just biologically, what does don't all scientists agree that life start at conception?
Cellular life, not sentient life.
And you're saying the importance is sentience.
Yeah,
So as long as we kill all the babies before they're sentient, that's fine in your
it's
opinion.
not a baby.
So, so what is
So
it?
what is it? It's an embryo.
What does embryo mean?
What does an embryo mean?
Yes.
It's an
Like,
early
what's the
stage of
definition of an
human
embryo?
cellular development.
Okay. So it's not a human, but it's developing
It's not
into
a
a human.
human being or a person, but it's an early stage of human cellular development.
Okay, and then so does stopping something from not from developing the way it's supposed to, is that not like if we're not killing it, would we not be destroying the embryo? Like that's what I'm saying is that's preventing a life.
Okay? And what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with preventing life?
Yeah. Like, is it wrong to use contraceptives?
No, at that point isn't a human yet. It's
But like
not,
you're preventing life from existing in the future.
but it's
When
not
you
a
use
fully realized
contraceptives,
human. It's like I'm saying if it took its natural course, it would be alive. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
exactly. And
If
if
you
you
use
instead of using contraceptives and let it take its natural course, there'd be a greater likelihood of there being a kid. So then
yeah, but
are
that's
you
not a
saying that it's wrong for you to use contraceptives because there
no.
could be a
That's what I'm,
kid there to a greater extent?
no. That's a it's a possibility maybe. Like that's not a certainty that you would be get pregnant from not using contraceptive. That's a like maybe it might could happen. That the other thing
That's
is
the same
it's
thing is
definitely
true
will
with a
happen.
with a pregnancy, right? The embryo
No,
could possibly
what?
miscarry. I
Okay,
just
but it will develop into a human nonetheless, right?
when you say human, you mean human cellular life, or do you mean human sentient life?
Human sentient life.
Okay, if we leave it to the natural processes, it will, but not if there's a miscarriage, not if there's something that leads to that limiting happening, and not if they choose to have an abortion.
You're
So
bringing up
the
all.
point is that you don't have a obligation to bring about something that will potentially exist in the future, right? That point that you value is not in existence yet. So the fact that you
I
force a sentient pregnant individual against their will to go through a pregnancy, right, when literally the embryo is non-sentient is crazy to me. It is nuts.
I would say you have an obligation to not destroy something that's in the process of being made like that. Like if something like if you were building anything or like constructing anything, like somebody destroying it, like whether like if it's not even a building yet, somebody's still like bringing a wrecking ball and just destroying a building. You're still destroying, even though it's not a building yet. You're still destroying the structure that is required for a building. Like you know what you're doing, and it's
That's your
evil
choice
either way.
though. It's within their body. It's their choice.
Okay, so you would be against it if what about sentience? Like if we banned it after sentience, banned abortion after sentience, would you be okay with that?
No, because I think that it's going to restrict people from getting access to it in the situations where of exceptions more than it would actually limit people from getting lethal abortions after sentience. Because I think that that essentially doesn't happen, and that people are going to induce labor after the point of viability. Okay, so it won't lead to the
Why are we
death
even
of the
talking about
fetus.
sentience if it doesn't matter whether they're sentient enough or you still would be in favor of it?
Well, I'm talking about from a moral perspective. Like lethal abortions after sentience, I do think are immoral, right? If they're elective. Okay? But the
Okay.
thing is, I think that a law in that circumstance has more risks than benefits, meaning that there's more risks that it will impose for individuals who are pregnant in terms of the exceptions for when I think that they should be applied than it actually would prevent lives from being saved, right? That I would say that the law wouldn't make sense to enforce. That's the point. But like hypothetically, if we could have a perfect law that would 100% encompass all the exceptions, every single possible exception that would occur, well then, yeah, sure, that law would exist and make sense.
So you think we should only make laws whenever the outcome should be perfect? Would be perfect? Like I believe
No, I'm
that
not
the
saying it's
intention
only when the
matters.
outcome would be perfect, but in this explicit circumstance, I do think that there are too many risks where I would say that like I wouldn't be comfortable with imposing said law.
And after, so what? So you're for abortion all the way up until like full, like until the baby is born.
No, I think that it's immoral in elective circumstances after
Okay, immoral, but when should it become illegal?
I don't think it should be illegal.
It should become illegal when
No,
the baby is born,
no
or
one's
what?
doing lethal abortion at 9 months.
Okay, when the baby is born, like then it would become illegal
It,
to
would-
kill your baby.
you understand that no one's getting abortions, right, in lethal circumstances at 9 months. So I'm just saying that there are issues with imposing the law. Now, is it immoral, right, if it happens in an elective circumstance? Of course. I would call it murder.
Okay, so you would call it murder, and you would be okay with enforcing the law. Then
If it was possible to ensure that we're enforcing it in circumstances in which wouldn't negatively impact the accessibility of abortion to individuals which need it in the which, by the way, at that particular time period, is literally just an induction of labor. You get no benefit from lethal termination.
I just feel like your side doesn't make sense. Just
What about that doesn't make sense?
like you would say it's morally wrong, but you don't think it should be legally wrong.
Yeah,
You say we shouldn't
that's
put a law
totally
in place.
totally okay of you to have.
But you saying we shouldn't put a law in place because there would be problems or complications with understanding around
More
the law.
risks than benefits from the law.
More risk. How would it? So more lives would be born, and it would prevent more lives from being lost. That's what I'm saying. What's the risk of?
It's not going to be saving people because no one's having abortions at that point, right? But it is going to be preventing people from getting access to abortion in situations where they need. But again, after viability, it's an induction of labor.
I just don't see it that way. I feel like that if you could save the baby at any point, like you should, that should be a responsibility of the parent. They should fully legally be mandated to do that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Even if it brought about harm to the mother, maybe, as long as it like, because both lives, like, why are you choosing one life over the other?
Okay. So, well, one thing you're not considering here is that there are negative impacts on individuals who are pregnant, and that these particular laws that you're talking about enforcing will literally lead to more pregnant individuals dying. And that you're not willing to see the impacts that are right in front of you that will negatively impact people because it will never impact you directly.
Okay, but what is it? Just because it won't impact me directly doesn't mean that I shouldn't have a moral standard for it, or there shouldn't be law
You
about
can
it.
have a moral standard for it, but you understand that you have to look at the risk and benefit analysis for why we won't be imposing a law in the first place, and not just say, oh, like, yeah, it's you guys are just wanting murder to happen, for example. No. After the point of viability, induction of labor doesn't lead to the death.
I guess we just disagree on that.
What do you disagree on?
I disagree that it should be like, even if it would bring about mortality of the mother or possibly the baby, I feel like we shouldn't be choosing which one should live. That's what I'm saying.
You said even if it could bring about more mortality for the pregnant individual or for the infant, you just wouldn't care?
No, I'm saying we shouldn't choose which one gets to live. That's what I'm saying. If it would bring about mortality for the mother, then the baby should then we should keep the baby. If it would bring about mortality for the
even
baby,
if it
we should
killed
keep
the
the mother.
mother.
You don't think we should keep the baby if it killed the mother?
No,
Why
what?
would that-
What the
So that's what I'm saying. Why are you choosing the mother over the
No,
baby?
no, if someone's gonna die in the scenario, that choice is up to them. What the That's not an obligation that we would say someone needs to go through, because that's an excessive obligation. Okay? That's insane to say that someone
How is
would
that
be forced to
excessive?
go
Like-
through You're saying someone should be forced to give up their bodily resources and go through a pregnancy, even if it means they're going to die, which means you don't even believe in self-defense for abortion.
What? That's
Yeah,
not
you believe that if the
self-defense.
woman's
That's
going to
something
die, that she shouldn't be able to get access to an abortion.
That's self-defense is clearly different. That's something
That's
that
what we just talked about. That's literally what we were just saying.
My guy, self-defense is something completely separate. This is something that you've been along for 9 months. You know this is happening. You signed up for this. This is what you signed up for. You signed up for this.
Yeah, but you didn't sign up to die. If it's going to prevent you from dying, then you can get it. And at that point, it would be an induction of labor without leading to the death of the baby. Like you understand that, right? And if it did end up doing so, that would be a justified action for them to engage in, because it's literally not an obligation for them to uphold that pregnancy if it's going to lead to their death. That's insane.
That's what I'm saying. We just disagree. I believe that is an
Yeah, you think
obligation
that
you
they should
should
have to go through the context of their literal death for the fucking
for the
baby? Are you
baby.
serious?
For the baby. Yes.
Okay, would you do that? Would you die? Would you say that
Yes.
you should be obligated to die?
Yes. For my baby, yes I would.
Okay, all right. So like, let's just clarify like some circumstances. Okay, let's say that like there's a set of circumstances where you could have like a particular baby that would be attached onto your body without your consent. Okay, and you had to hold on to it, right? Medical risks, everything involved, psychological risks, everything involved, the same as pregnancy, right? You're saying that you should be forced to go through that, even if it would lead to your death at the very end. Legally, you should be forced to go through that. Really? You'd be okay with that?
That's I mean, but that's given different circumstances though than what is normally like applied. Because you just said if I was forced to do if I that was forced upon me, that's not forced upon you. You have a baby by having and you have
Wait. So
by
to clarify, then you think that in those circumstances where it's either going to be the pregnant individual or the baby, if they have been they should be able to get access to an abortion at that point?
I mean, yeah, I mean that's what I said. Exceptions, like sure, like
So they shouldn't be forced to go through that circumstance, right?
yeah, I mean if they didn't decide to have a baby, then no, that's not something they should
Okay,
be forced to do.
so then how about this? Let's say after you had sex one time, this just was attached to you because you had sex, and it just
Yeah,
happened to be attached to
then
you.
yes, I would.
Then you're saying that you should be forced to go through that scenario, even if it leads to your death at the very end.
Yes, I think you should be responsible for your actions, especially if I knew
So
beforehand that this would
because you
happen.
had sex, just because you had sex, you should be forced to go through that whole process, which inevitably will lead to your death, just because you had chose to have sex, which
Yes,
you've done before, right? You're not.
yes.
I'm
What
assuming,
I'm
of
saying
course.
is,
Okay, so then the very point would then be is that this could be applicable to you right now, and you would say that you should have to die.
my point is, if you know beforehand that this will happen if you do this, and you still do this, yes, I believe that is your
No,
responsibility. Same
okay.
way,
I think that's an insane thing because you have to think about it this way, right? One, an incredibly low possibility. Two, right? It's not sentient, right? So the fact that you would force someone to go through the context of a pregnancy and incur all of these risks for an individual that is non-sentient is nuts, okay? And we don't apply cause obligation in every single scenario. There are plenty of scenarios where cause obligation doesn't principally hold, okay? And even so, like I don't think that you would apply this if you yourself were at risk of this being applicable to you,
I
of
just said I
you being
would.
at risk
Like,
of dying. I don't actually think that you believe that.
you don't think I believe that?
No, I do
Okay.
not think that you believe that. That you and other men should be forced to go through like literal death, right? For right a baby that literally you just are inevitably going to have because of the fact that you decided to have sex. Like I don't think that you would give up your life.
Well, I would, and especially like I said,
And
if
I
you
don't
know
think that
the
you think you should be forced to give up your life. Now watch this. How about this? Do you believe in vaccine mandates?
vaccine mandates, no. What's the contradiction?
Okay, so just let me clarify. That saves human lives, doesn't it? So
Vaccines?
you were totally okay with forcing
I
people
mean,
to literal death to save just one. But if you know that vaccine mandates, you just being forced to take that vaccine ensures that thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people will live, whereas otherwise they wouldn't have, right? So then in that circumstance, you're like, oh, no, I'm not willing to save all of those human lives just for being forced to do that.
no, I'm saying I
But,
wouldn't prevent.
like if we're in the situation of abortion, they definitely should be forced, even if they're going to die at the
No,
very
in
end.
that situation, then all those people that want to get vaccines, they will get vaccines themselves. What I'm saying is, I would not be forced to have a vaccine in me. That shouldn't. I'm against that.
But it would save human lives.
How would it me getting a vaccine save human life?
Well,
Like what?
the
Because I can't
mandates as a
spread it?
whole that ensures everyone. And by the way, you getting a vaccine would save human lives too, because of the fact that it would reduce the likelihood of you getting it, reduce the likelihood of you transmitting it to other people, reduce the likelihood of you having severe illness, right? Reduce the viral load, right, that you would have. So you understand that vaccines are effective scientifically. That's been determined to be true. The fact that you don't see the benefit is like someone saying, "Oh, I'm not going to wear a seatbelt because there's been no time in my life where I've been saved by a seatbelt."
No, look. I'm saying whether you wear a seatbelt or not, that's a personal responsibility. That's something that
Okay,
you decide for.
but yet, do you think it reduces the likelihood of people being harmed to wear a seatbelt?
Yes.
Or how
And do
about
I?
this? Your argument is akin to, I don't brush my teeth because people who brush their teeth can still get cavities.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
Teresa, think of
I
the
shouldn't be.
galaxy.
Do you believe you should be
I don't
forced?
brush my teeth because people can still get cavities
Okay,
anyway. Why
should
would
we
I
force?
brush my teeth if you can still get cavities even though you still brush them every day?
Should we force people to brush their teeth?
And I'm not forcing, but the point I'm making is
No,
that
I
like
said
you're
should
still
we.
going to engage in the idea of wanting to brush your teeth because you think it's going to reduce the likelihood of it harming other people. So your whole reasoning here was, oh, why should I get vaccinated? It's not going to save or help anyone else. Yes, it does. It proportionally reduces the likelihood of it harming people in the same way that you brush your teeth because it proportionally lowers the likelihood of things impacting your dental health.
But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it's your bodily autonomy. And then it's not affecting anybody else in the sense that it's your body. And I'm
Yes, it is.
saying,
It is helping other people. Vaccines literally prevent other people from
okay,
getting illness.
even if it
Wait, and
could be
for
helping
plenty
other
of
people, that's not
Americans
your
that are
responsibility.
for plenty of Americans that are immunocompromised, they rely on the herd immunity from our broader society, right, in order to be able to ensure that they are safe in the first place and even doing basic daily tasks, okay? You have to understand that there are millions of Americans that rely upon that in the very first place. And by the way, you're willing to put their lives at risk. But apparently, you think that people should literally be forced to go through literal death, okay, for a scenario in terms of pregnancy, right? They should be forced, not because they choose to, but because they should be legally forced to. That's insane
Do,
to me.
so do you believe that other people are responsible for other people's safety or well-being?
Not in all scenarios.
But in what scenarios would you say that they are responsible for that?
In typical scenarios, like for example, like I want to provide healthcare, childcare, housing affordability, things, right, for people in need through the context of our governmental systems, right? And I think that our governmental system would be good at applying for that or providing for that, the general welfare of the population.
And you think that anybody that doesn't agree with that is immoral?
Yeah, if you agree with none of that, then I think that's an immoral position. Yes.
So if you don't think that it's your responsibility to help everybody else,
Yeah, through the governmental
that's you're
systems.
immoral.
Yeah, at
The
all.
government,
Yeah, then I think that's an immoral position. Yes.
really
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Okay, we just disagree, I guess.
You think we shouldn't have any governmental systems?
No, I'm saying I do, but I'm saying
Well, you
I do
do. So,
think that
like, I
we
just
should
want to
have.
clarify. If someone didn't believe in any governmental systems, like cutting everyone off Social Security, everyone off Medicare, everyone off Medicaid, everyone off of food stamps, everyone off of unemployment insurance, everyone off of all the basic necessities that we provide for people, Section 8 and everything else, right? You're saying if everyone were to be cut off of that immediately like that, someone supports that, you think that they're not having an immoral position right there?
No, I don't think that's a moral
That's not
position.
an immoral position? But
No,
then you, at the same time, are going to say that people should be forced to go through literal death to save an embryo. Yeah, like literally.
I mean that's legal. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. I'm in favor of legal, what you call it, like morally. Like I
Yeah,
think that
legally
having
forcing
a
people to go through death for an embryo.
yes, yes, but like I said, morally and legally
Yes,
is different,
yes. You
right?
see what I mean? So do you see how you have a difference in standard here? That the obligation that someone has to go through in order to be able to uphold like a pregnancy or in that scenario that literally takes them up to death is such a harsher obligation than like providing financial help, right, that you do for like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, like the amount that the typical American would put into that, or like literally providing basic access to childcare and things that people need to ensure that families are taken care of in the first place. And by the way, which would reduce more abortions than your whole banning scheme.
But the difference is the level of responsibility you have. You don't have responsibility for other people to the same extent you would have responsibility for a baby that you're carrying or that you're making.
Okay, well, what you're not understanding is that the responsibility, right, only goes up to a certain level of obligation, right? There is a certain obligation that becomes too much where you don't have that obligation anymore. All right, thank you so much for the ignition check. Thank you.
What makes that obligation? Because you could
Like,
possibly
how about
die.
this?
That's
If they knew that they were going, do you think that they should be forced to go through torture?
torture just for no reason. No.
No, no, for the life of the baby. Like for example, if the Joker came to them, right, and was
Yeah.
going to forcefully torture them, right, right, if they didn't get an abortion, would you say that they should be legally obligated to go through that torture?
I mean, probably not because there would be no way to even possibly legally enforce that. Like, if anything, that it would be illegal for him to torture them. So like that's like an impossibility to even like legalize that.
No, we're just talking about
Anyways,
from a moral perspective right now.
from a moral perspective,
Yes.
I don't know.
Do
I
you
don't
think
know
she
if I
should go
could.
through that torture? Do you think she should be
Do I think
obligated to
morally?
go
Yeah,
through
I
the
mean, yes.
torture?
If it would lead to the baby being born, I feel like that.
So you're saying she should
Yes,
be
morally,
obligated to go through the torture?
morally, I would say yes, but
You're nuts. Wait,
because
just because
morally,
you would choose to do so doesn't mean someone is obligated to do so.
no, that's what I'm saying. We're saying morally, like morally, would should they do this morally? And I say
How
yes.
about this? If
I didn't
if
say should
are
would they
you
be obligated.
obligated to engage in actions that will prevent
Are
abortion?
you obligated? No.
No, you're not.
I mean, like me, like me specifically, yes. I would say yes if I didn't want to have a baby, but like for the everyday
So
random
why are
person,
you
no, I wouldn't say
obligated
no.
as a person to vote against the right for other people to have access to abortion? Why are you obligated to do that?
Why am I obligated to do what?
To vote for that?
You're not making sense. To vote for what?
Why are you obligated to vote to restrict people's access to abortion?
I'm not obligated.
You're not?
No,
Okay, so if you're not obligated, why is it a reason why you support Trump?
because that's a belief I have. Just because I'm not obligated, don't mean I should not make my opinion heard or vote with.
You don't think you're morally obligated to advocate for or to push for legislation that will enact the particular beliefs that you have on abortion?
Morally, sure, but like you said, am I obligated? Like, I didn't know if you were.
Yeah, it's a
meaning,
moral
like,
obligation that I thought.
yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. Morally obligated, I would be. Um,
I mean, you
for
chose
certain
to come
beliefs,
on this live, right?
no, I mean, like I didn't. I wasn't morally
Yeah,
obligated.
you chose to
live.
come on this live, therefore you are morally obligated
No,
to
that doesn't
advocate for
make
this,
sense.
right? Because
No.
you're perpetuating this as the reason as to why you support Trump.
Yeah, but I would say I came onto this live because I wanted to, not because I'm morally obligated. It's a difference.
But would you say while coming on this live, you then have some sort of moral obligation to uphold your perspective?
Sure. After I've, yeah,
So
sure.
you have a moral obligation to argue for it to be illegal to get access to an abortion? Why?
I would say just because it's the right thing to do
Okay, and what makes you think that? You think it's the right thing to advocate for people to be forced to go through pregnancies, or even if it leads to their death?
for the life of the child. We've been through this for the life of the child.
But then you're not okay with people being forced to get a vaccine for the life of children.
No, because it's different. That's not a responsibility the parent took on. That's a different thing entirely.
It should be a responsibility for parents to vaccinate their children, right? To keep their children safe?
No,
So it's not an obligation to keep your children safe.
it is.
It is an obligation to keep kids safe. So it is an
Yes.
obligation to vaccinate your children if they medically can take it.
The difference is of opinion is whether like what you think will keep your children safe. That's what I'm saying. Just because you believe this is what will keep your children safe doesn't mean that's what other people
No,
believe.
no, science indicates it's what makes your children safe. It's not what I believe, it's what science indicates to be true, okay? So unless you're denying science, right, aren't you trying to do what's safe for children? Aren't you obligated as a person to do what's going to be safe for your children or do what's better for your children, right?
Like scientifically, but the thing is, science changes, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, but the thing is, like
All the
the
evidence
COVID
indicates
vaccine,
that this
for example,
vaccine,
right?
the vaccines are effective. You're just
So
a
for the
hypocrite.
COVID vaccine, right? Like
You are a
so you're
hypocrite.
saying
You don't believe that people have an obligation to vaccinate their children, but they have an obligation to go through the pregnancy, right? Even if it leads to their death.
I've never really thought about the vaccine thing. What I would say is like the for sure medical vaccines that we've had for years and stuff. Like maybe that should be medically obligated.
Yeah, like the
for
COVID
kids.
vaccine, for example, we've had it for
No,
years.
no,
It's
not
been
like the
tested. There's been billions of doses given around the world. It's been proven to be safe and effective. So, for example, like the COVID vaccine.
No, not like the COVID vaccines, especially whenever it was first released.
Okay, well, you've been proven wrong.
How have I been
So when
proven
is the
wrong?
5G going to connect?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like when is the 5G going to connect? Like we have 5G, and when's the microchip going to change us
I'm not
and
with the.
turn on
I
Order
don't know about the
66?
conspiracy theories.
When
man.
is
I'm just
Order
saying-
66 going to start?
All I'm saying is, the same year a vaccine is developed, no, you shouldn't be forced to automatically take the vaccine. Is that crazy stance to have?
No, the point that I'm making is that you guys fear-mongered, like all the anti-vaccine people fear-mongered about the vaccine, saying that it was going to lead to all of these problems. We're now 5 years later. Have they happened? Have the vaccines determined to be not safe and effective? Has Order 66 been initiated by Emperor Palpatine?
No, that's what I'm saying. I
No.
have
So
never
like,
been with the
let me
conspiracy
let me
theories.
just clarify real
My point
quick. Let me
was
just
that
clarify
you
real quick.
shouldn't be
The
forced.
vaccines have been proven to be safe and effective. They've had billions of doses all around the world given to people, okay? They've been proven to be safe and effective. The fact that you don't accept that to be legitimate science at this point proves you never actually cared about just waiting for the process of determining whether or not it will be truly effective based upon the science in the first place, and instead you were just trying to leave off right ever taking the vaccine simply because you're anti-science.
How I'm anti-science.
Yes, if you do not
Okay,
believe the
look,
COVID vaccine is safe and effective, you are literally anti-science. Absolutely. There's so
no,
much
like I
evidence
said,
indicating that. I've not seen a single study indicating otherwise. Give me a single piece of evidence.
I know. No, I'm saying to this day, I don't know if I would mandate COVID, but I'm saying at the beginning, whenever it was first forced upon people or they would lose their jobs, I was against that. What mandating it back then? I'm saying now today I would have to do
That was
more
only
research.
for federal jobs, my guy.
Okay, that's
And
still
for
their
like
living. That's
doctors
still
and
their
stuff.
well-being.
What's up?
Okay, that's still how they make money. Like you're
Yeah,
like
that's fine. I
forcing
mean,
them.
they chose to be a federal worker.
Okay, I
Do
mean,
you agree that federal workers, right, have to abide by federal regulation?
sure, yeah,
Okay. So they chose to be a federal worker. Therefore, they have an obligation to uphold what it means to be a federal worker, which means abiding by federal regulations. Correct?
sure.
There you go. They're obligated to get
That wasn't even my
vaccinated now.
point, though. That wasn't my point. My point was, I just don't believe like, sure, federal workers, sure, that's your point, but I'm saying everybody else, like people should not be forced to get this vaccine when it hasn't even truly been tested. And there was multiple
It has
scientists and
been
stuff.
tested, dude.
I'm talking about back then, whenever it was first released,
It
because
was enforced. Like, this is literally just like,
it was
and
forced.
by
What
the
are you
way,
talking?
that was the right decision. It absolutely was the right decision. You
Whether
want to know
it
why?
was or not, I'm saying
It
back
was
then,
because all the data indicates it's effective.
whether it was or not, there were scientists disagreeing
Dude,
with
the vaccine saved millions of lives.
That's okay. That's your opinion,
That's
but
not my opinion. That's the facts. That's the science. That's evidence-based facts,
so
my
so
guy.
you telling me
That is not just my feelings. That is
no?
not just
Okay,
what I think
so you tell
myself. That's
okay.
not just
Let
what
me
I
ask you this.
want to believe. That is what the facts are.
So it's a fact that millions of more people would have died without taking
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Okay,
Without
sure.
the vaccine being there.
How could that be a
Yes.
fact?
How? Because it drastically reduces severe illness and death, drastically reduces hospitalization, drastically reduces the level of transmission. Do you think? How do you think Delta and Omicron would have gone without the vaccine being there? You tell me that. How would that have gone? It would have been I don't even think you understand how devastating Delta and Omicron would have been without the vaccine.
How many people died of COVID?
How many people died of COVID? Millions of people.
I'm talking about in the U.S.
It was over 1 million. It was like, I think 1 or 2 million. I think two. I think it's probably 2 million.
Okay, so you
Deaths to COVID. It might be. Let me check. It's been a while since I've checked. 7 million around the world. In the U.S., it is. Sorry. 1.1. Is it? Sorry, it's not giving me overall numbers. It's giving me separated. Give me 1 second. Okay, it's really not giving me anything. I'll just go with what people are saying. 1.2 million people are saying.
okay? Let's say it's 1.2 million people that died overall from COVID. I'm pretty sure by now, like just in the beginning year of COVID, everybody had like basically gotten the virus. Like I had it before I ever was even thinking about getting a vaccine, and I know probably almost everybody in the United States has. Right? You would agree with that? Has had COVID.
That you said what? Say one more time.
Probably everybody in the United States has had COVID.
No, I wouldn't say everyone has.
Really?
No, I just recently got COVID a bit ago.
So you didn't have it during the first year?
No, I didn't have it for years.
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't get
Crazy.
COVID until like 2024.
So okay, but maybe
2025,
this is a
like
personal anecdote, but for what I know, everybody I know has had COVID basically. And I'm saying is maybe one or two people I know have died from COVID. What I'm saying is 1 million out of the total U.S. population, basically everybody's had it. That's from my opinion. Basically everybody has had COVID. I'm saying,
But that's also because of the
1 million,
vaccine.
that's because of the vaccine.
Yes,
Okay.
like way more people would have died if we didn't have the vaccine.
I'm talking about like first year though. I'm talking about like whenever the vaccine, like people wasn't getting the vaccine for real.
Yeah, I just want to let you know the original strain was less transmissible than Delta and Omicron. Delta and Omicron significantly more transmissible. Delta was more transmissible with a similar mortality rate. Omicron had a lower mortality rate. But that's
What?
also because those are associated with the vaccine.
And
So it's just
when
like
did these come out? The
Omicron and
Delta.
Delta.
Yes.
The Delta was second wave, Omicron was third wave.
Okay. I mean, like, but there's really no way to know to know that you're saying it would have been catastrophic and it would have. You said it's more transmissible, but like just because it's more transmissible doesn't mean more people would have really died from it, for real.
It does, because more people would have gotten it, and more people would have died from it
Well,
if
I'm
they were
saying
not
everybody's basically
vaccinated. That's
already
just a
had it.
fact.
Basically, everybody's already had it.
Because, more people are vaccinated, less people are going to die from it. You understand that, right? So by the time that Delta and Omicron were hitting, we had already developed and fast-tracked the vaccine to get out. That's like one of the good things you can point to of the Trump administration was Operation Warp Speed. That's like one of the only things you can point to.
I don't know about that one. I don't know. I just don't support
Yeah, you just don't believe in
mandating
science.
people to get tests.
How old's the Earth?
Newly developed. You said what?
How old is the Earth?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you believe dinosaurs existed?
Not really.
Even though we
Why,
have
you
plenty of archaeological evidence indicating dinosaurs existed.
What, you believe in dinosaurs now?
I definitely do believe dinosaurs existed. Yep. Yeah. You don't believe in dinos?
I don't really have an opinion too much, but I would say if I was forced to give an opinion, I would say no.
So that's just all fake. All the fossil record is fake. You think the Earth
Could
is
be.
flat?
No. Well, I don't.
Okay.
No. I would
Do you
say no, but
No.
I'm not certain.
Oh.
So you're 100% sure that the Earth isn't flat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You want to know why?
Why?
The sun sets.
Okay.
Okay. If it was flat, we would see the sun just get smaller and it would fade out of our sight. It wouldn't get blocked by the horizon.
You're saying
Okay.
there's no way around that?
We wouldn't be able to see the sun set, go up to the top of a skyscraper, and see it set again. That wouldn't be possible.
But you're basing that based off of what you already think to know that the workings of the solar system is, though.
Wait, say that one more time?
No. You're basing that off of what you believe the workings of the solar system to be already. So like that's kind
Yeah,
of like
wait, we can prove that these things operate this way. Want to know why? Because we know when we're going to see solar eclipses, we know when we're going to see lunar eclipses, we know when we're going to orbit around the Earth, or I mean around the sun, how long it's going to take, where other aspects of the solar system will be. You understand that, right?
I mean, you're trying to make
You
me
understand
argue
that
a
we
point
can math this out and we can test that?
yeah, that's why like I said, the science is really the reason why I'm more along the side of yes, I do believe. Like I'm 95% certain it's like it's a sphere, round, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I know, but you
But
don't believe dinosaurs existed, and there's archaeological evidence indicating that to be factual.
like I just said, I don't really know for certain, and I don't really care. Like I'm not into conspiracy theories or anything like that. Like, does it really matter?
Does it really matter? Yes, it does. If you don't believe in science, if you don't believe that dinosaurs existed, if you don't believe in archaeological evidence, well then you are not acquainted with reality. Okay? Science is really important. It is really important that you rely on evidence. It's really important you don't just believe things because you feel like it, because then we're going to have people believe in the most delusional possible shit. What is the difference between you believing in what you believe in and the random person believing Homelander is God? There's literally no distinction.
Look, I just on both of those topics, I said I agreed with you though.
There's no
That's the difference.
distinction. The person who
I just-
believes Homelander literally is God is no different than you.
But I just said I just said I believe the same things as you. I agreed with you that both of these things, and I just said that I'm not 100% certain. That's the only difference. That you're saying that you're certain that this is the way it is, and I'm saying okay, maybe I'm 95% certain that it is. That's not like
95
what's the
is a
big
little bit
difference?
too low. It should be like 99.999999999.
And that's
Actually, I
that's
believe
that's your
100%
opinion.
because of all the information that indicates this. Okay? And I'm using it in a more colloquial sense. But like the point that I'm making is that you shouldn't even be doubting yourself, is what I'm saying. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. Would you at least agree that?
For which one?
Believing the Earth is spherical.
Oh yes. I would
How
agree with
about
that one,
dinosaurs
but, like,
exist? Is
reason.
that beyond a reasonable doubt?
What's the standard for a reasonable doubt?
Is it not self-explanatory, my guy? What is a reasonable doubt? It's something that you have reason to doubt. Do you need me to clarify that more?
But but clearly the flat earthers they reasonably doubt
They don't
it, right?
have reasons. It's not reasonable. Flat earthers' arguments are unreasonable.
So all flat earthers' arguments are unreasonable.
Absolutely.
I guess. I mean, if that's the
For
case, I
arguing
mean,
that the Earth is flat, yeah, that specifically,
I'll take
yes.
your word for it. I haven't really been into the flat earther sphere. I don't know all the
Yeah,
reasons, but I'm
every
saying,
argument to say the Earth is flat is absolutely unreasonable.
and sure, I mean, sure, I guess.
There is no reasonable doubt. We have all the evidence in the world to indicate that the Earth is spherical. Now, again, you don't believe dinosaurs existed, so, I mean, you don't really believe in that evidence in the science. So the point that I'm trying to get you to do is to realize is that you have to believe in science. If you don't believe in science, you are no different than someone who believes Homelander is God. I'm not trolling. Like, I'm literally using that to make a joke out of it, but it's seriously an actual criticism, okay? Like, literally,
Okay.
someone believing whatever the they want is just as valid as you if you don't rely on evidence.
And you don't think that has been any science that's been faked or nothing like that?
No, I don't think that the science is faked relating to the spherical Earth. I don't think that the science is faked relating to the vaccines when all the data around the world internationally indicates this to be effective, right?
No,
Like,
I'm not talking specifically about those instances. I'm talking about like throughout history. Do you think
name
there's
me
been
one
instances?
specific instance.
Let me think.
There are so little that you can't even name me one right now.
I mean, because a lot of times it's not really the science being fake. It's like it's being manipulated, kind of in a way that's not like
You don't even know
misleading.
what you're referencing. This is just some sort of fear-mongering tactic that you're using in your own head to prevent yourself from believing in science. What type of psyop is this, dude? Are you serious? Why
have
do
you
you
heard-
want
have
to
you-
think this way?
have
Why
you
do you
heard
want
the-
to not rely on evidence? That makes you able to be controlled, my guy. You've been brainwashed.
What about the moon
Do you
landing?
think the moon landing?
Do
Do
you
you think that was
believe
fake?
the moon landing?
Yeah.
I mean, I never really looked into it. It might be.
Okay. Well, I'm
And you're
surprised. I'm
you're
surprised
certain
you.
that-
I'm surprised you don't believe that. That's actually like a pretty widely held view, to be honest.
And you believe that it's 100% real, huh?
Oh, absolutely, we went to the moon. The Soviet Union clarified that we did, and they had all intensive purposes, right, and intentions to literally undermine us if they could have. If they could prove that we didn't make it to the moon, that we had no evidence of us being on the moon, and that what we said was true on the moon, it wasn't actually there, they would prove us wrong. And they
You're-
would show that to the world so that they could win the space race.
And what if we managed to trick them into believing that too?
How?
That-
They went to the moon.
They went to
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was saying. Like 100%. Like I wouldn't.
You want to
like,
know how I know for
most
sure?
things-
We have reflectors we put on the moon that you can literally send a little light up to, and you can get a feedback from that light, from that reflect, because we left stuff on the moon to then help prove to you.
I mean, you probably just overall did more research about that. Like, I mean, like, what's the point of you even knowing that? Like, what's the importance of that?
What do you mean, the importance of going to the moon?
No, what's the importance of knowing that the moon landing was real? That
That
fossils
you
and
believe in
dinosaurs.
science, you believe in evidence, and that you don't just believe random conspiracy theories that people tell you on the internet because it's interesting. That's what I'm meaning.
there's-
Like, we need to
but-
live in a society that functions properly, where people critically think. Like, that's genuinely why it matters.
But why not use more grounded things that you could prove through science?
Like science.
No, I'm saying like through science. Like, why not use more grounded things like something that you could prove yourself, basically, like something that's
You can.
so you could prove that the space moon landing was real 100% yourself.
Yes, because we left stuff there that you can get feedback from, like I just told you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's so many other ways that could be faked or something like
How?
that.
How?
Like, I'm not thinking.
Is it a
like,
fake moon? We
Maybe,
stole the moon, actually.
maybe it is.
Okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore, dude. Are you serious, bro?
No, I'm saying like you saying you're 100% certain is way more far fetched than me saying I'm unsure.
No, it's not. And I'm using it more in a colloquial sense, right? Like when we say 100% certain, we mean it differently than like what some Phil bro would mean when they say I'm logically certain, right? Like when I'm saying this, I'm saying all the good evidence indicates this. Like any reasonable person would believe this, and any person who doesn't believe this is unreasonable. It's kind of like the point that I'm making. That's the notion, at least, of certain that I'm using here.
You've seen the Matrix, right?
Yes.
How do you know you're not in the Matrix?
How do you know you're not?
Could be. I'm saying, how do you know? Because you're the one that's 100% certain of so many things.
Well, how do we? Evidence is why. It would give us certain expectations. If these explanations were true about the world, we would expect certain things that we don't see.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how are you 100? how are you 100% certain that you're not in the matrix right now?
I guess when you say logically certain, no one's 100% certain that they're not a brain in a vat. Okay, like that's obviously a logical possibility, right? But when we say certainty in this context, we're using a colloquial sense if all evidence points otherwise.
Okay, and you're certain that you're not in the matrix, like from the standard you've using
Okay,
for
I'm
all
gonna
these
kick
other
you.
ones, all these other standards.
I already answered the question, and you're just not engaging with it. So let's go to the next person. Only